I continue to be amazed at how many similarities I have with our new president, Prashani. My first job was as a key punch operator, and a job that most of our young people didn't even know existed, and is an example of how rapidly information technology changes. I also want to extend a warm welcome to all participating in this inaugural Cyberinfrastructure Conference, sponsored by North Dakota EPSCoR. We thank them for that, and hosted by the NDSU IT Division and our colleagues and friends at UND. I want to especially thank Kim Owen and Aaron Bergstrom, Kim being from our campus and Aaron from UND. These two individuals have provided great leadership and have worked hours and hours the last few months to put this first inaugural virtual program together, and so they need to be especially thanked. And thank you to our presidents, our leaders, for taking time to participate in this event that we are very excited about. We hope it's only the first of many like this. We are very excited about the different cyber infrastructure initiatives that you will be seeing and hearing about today. We are very fortunate to have two keynote speakers who are nationally known for their work in this field. Henry Neiman from Oklahoma Supercomputer Center, who I believe is with us today personally on site, and Russ Hobby, retired only 2 days from EDUCAUSE and Internet, but he's been very instrumental in establishing cyber infrastructure days at universities all over the country for the past few years. And we are very fortunate that he gave up his second day of retirement to join us. You're also going to hear about excellent cyber infrastructure work being done locally and regionally. But before our program begins, I thought I'd make a few brief additional comments on where the term CI came from, or cyber infrastructure. I use the short term because cyber infrastructure, if you say that too many times, it'll add 5 minutes to my comments. So I shorten the term to CI. In late 2004, the National Science Foundation's Blue Ribbon Advisory Panel on Cyber Infrastructure published a report detailing what CI was and why it was important to support. This was followed by the establishment of an Office of CI within the NSF Director's Office, giving it visibility and credibility through all directorates within the National Science Foundation. The result, as you probably know if you've written any NSF grants in the past 2-3 years or so, is that a great percentage of NSF grant proposal guidelines require a cyber infrastructure component. I read that Blue Ribbon report soon after it was published to find out what our institutions needed to participate in this new environment that NSF was proposing. The report was clearly advocating support for 3 primary tools: advanced computing and the software that goes along with it to support such applications as modeling and simulations, and the broadband networks that connect all 3, and the development of a more knowledgeable workforce to work in this environment. We were pleasantly surprised, and when I say we, I include our friends at UND, that we were already beginning to invest in those initiatives through the establishment of our high-performance computing centers, and the Northern Tier Network was just beginning, that both NDSU and UND were involved in developing. I went back and read that report, that Blue Ribbon report, again in preparation of this conference, to just see how we were doing. After working in this environment for the past 7 years, it is clear that the tools identified as CI were and are needed. And what they really do is enable, and what the report really says, it enables what it was intended to do, enable global collaboration and partnerships across disciplines and with other public and private sectors. As you may recall, and I think it's still true today, there was great concern about the United States falling behind in its scientific endeavors. And this report was part of developing a process to put more emphasis on solutions, scientific solutions, to help advance our nation's scientific agenda. This focus on CI was to result in a more targeted investment in scholarly activity, which in turn supports economic vitality. And I believe that is happening, but with work, a lot of work still to be done. If anyone is interested in reading the Blue Ribbon Report, which is still very relevant, it can be found on the NSF Office of Cyberinfrastructure website. Or you can contact me, and I would be happy to send you the web address. So that concludes my remarks, and now I'll turn it over to my colleague at UND, Josh Riedy.
Thank you, Bonnie. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, talking about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart and to the University of North Dakota. Coming off the comments by President Kelly, I do not believe there's that much more to say other than to stress the importance of technology within all walks of life at the university these days. Research is the chosen subject today, but technology is becoming so pervasive that is impacting absolutely everything that we do on the university campus. Before I go that much further, I also want to send greetings from our Vice President of Research and Economic Development, Dr. Phyllis Johnson. Dr. Johnson is out on medical leave, and we wish her the very best in her recovery. Also, Dr. Mark Hoffman, the co-director of EPSCoR, I believe it was indicated earlier, is on sabbatical and is not able to be here today. So I think of it as myself and President Kelly making up for those two fine individuals. We miss them, but we hope that they will be with us when we do this event again. Continuing my comments, I think I have to think no further than this legislative session and its potential impact on research at the University of North Dakota as a perfect case study. We have done everything within our power at the university over the last couple of years to basically turn technology upside down, put everything on the table, and start over and try to build an infrastructure that is suitable to a modern research university. That has not been without its challenges. That has not been without its disagreements. But what I think it has bore is a clear direction and a clear set of priorities that the University of North Dakota must achieve if it wants to not only survive but to thrive in this day and age. And one of those recommendations was very specific to research technology and computational science and the needs of that particular area. So I am delighted to be here in front of you today. I'm delighted to partake in today's activities to talk about a very relevant subject. Before the legislature is a IT hosting facility for the North Dakota University system. We are very thankful this week that the board supported an amendment to that to basically apply for a NIST grant, which would allow us to add nearly $10 million worth of research computing infrastructure to the University of North Dakota. That is a monumental development for us, and we are very hopeful that we are successful in that endeavor because that type of infrastructure, that type of facility is what is needed for the University of North Dakota and all of our universities and colleges within the North Dakota University system to, again, not only survive but to thrive in this day and age. I know people have made mention of the Northern Tier Network and its impact in this particular part of the country. Agree wholeheartedly in that, but yet we also need the types of facilities and the types of resources to be able to be competitive. You know, if you look at what we have right now for data storage alone, it's in the basement of an old computer science facility that was built in the 60s before we could ever envision what we have for technology today. It's that type of obstacle that we must overcome, and I'm confident that we will overcome. Beyond that, I know we're going to talk about, or a bit about this today, but we get into the human resource, the human capital. In front of me is Ron Marsh, Department Chair of Computer Science, and I think of Ron, and I think of a trip we made to Bismarck to talk about the IT needs of the state. Those needs, again, are pervasive. And so I think of our university, and I think of all of the universities and colleges out there today, and we must also address the skill set of our labor force today and continue to find innovative ways of enhancing those skills and allowing those or our graduates to be more productive in the world that we live in today and whatever we can envision for tomorrow. So thank you very much for being here today. I will ask Aaron Bergstrom to come up. There's some house cleaning, I understand, and then I am delighted to hear our first keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. A couple of things before we start. We will have the conference proceedings online at the NDSU repository and available through the Cyberinfrastructure website at ci.ndepscor.nodac.edu. Video presentations will be archived at the repository, and we'll put them on YouTube as well. Let's see. If you have questions, please enter them into the online chat system. Our system here up at UND is up here at the front. I actually a little bit behind this morning, so during Henry's talk, I'll probably be setting that up. And then there's a live video stream online, which also is at that will also be available through the website in about 20 minutes or so, or 30 minutes. I think that's pretty much it